Now we welcome Mark Salazar.
I'm sure that most of us know at least one person in our lives who vapes. My brother tells me that he is so addicted to vaping, he vapes in his dreams, and will often wake up in the middle of the night just to take a puff. Last year, it was estimated that hundreds of thousands of middle and high school students in the US were heavily addicted to vaping, often to the point where stopping is extremely difficult. At the center of this worrying trend is the modern disposable e-cigarette. These devices are cheap, loaded with sweet flavors, packed with nicotine, and designed to last thousands of puffs. These features make them especially appealing to young people, which is why they're the most popular e-cigarette type among the youth. Although they're legally sold in the US and many other countries, they dominate the global market. Yet, despite their popularity, market trends have far outpaced research, and we still know surprisingly little about what's actually inside most of these devices. My graduate research is on metal emissions from popular disposable e-cigarettes. What I found was deeply concerning. Across all the brands I tested, these devices emitted excessive amounts of toxic metals known to harm the lungs and brain, including lead, nickel, and antimony, many of which were at concentrations known to increase the risk of cancer. In some cases, this was due to the use of lead-based alloys inside the devices, which sit in direct contact with an acidic nicotine liquid. When these devices are used, lead and other toxic metals can leach into this liquid and transfer to the aerosols that users inhale. When I compared the lead emissions from these devices to traditional cigarettes, I found that a day's worth of puffs from one brand could expose a user to as much lead as smoking 19 packs of cigarettes in a single day. This was frightening. Lead affects our nervous system, and there is no safe level of exposure. Even very low levels can impair brain development, particularly in children and adolescents. And once lead enters the body, it doesn't just disappear. It can remain in the bones for decades, potentially being released later on in life, especially during pregnancy and breastfeeding. This means that mothers and their children can be exposed to lead accumulated from earlier in the mother's life. To better understand the health effects of using these products, I conducted a month-long exposure study with mice using the lead-emitting brand I identified. I was shocked by what I found. After just 4 weeks, I observed lung injury and significant accumulation of lead in the bones of the exposed animals, with the females taking on more lead than the males. E-cigarettes are often assumed to be safer than traditional cigarettes. However, my research indicates that disposable e-cigarettes can be a significant source of toxic metal exposure, especially for young people whose lungs, brains, and bones are still developing. If we want to protect the next generation, we need a clear understanding of what's inside these products. We must ensure that research keeps pace with evolving market trends. Thank you.